Yeah, YouTube battle community, Weezer fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens, and we are here today to talk about Weezer's most recent album. It's their 11th release, Pacific Daydream, released through Crush and Atlantic Records. There's a lot to talk about with this album. It has fans completely split down the middle. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people are like, eh. Some people are like, why did they bother? Like, the last two albums were great. What the hell is this? Some people are like, alright, cool, new era of Weezer. So, because of that, I really could have taken the easy way out on this one and been like, yeah, I don't think I like it. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play it more and more and more, over and over and over, and really get into it and figure out what I don't like about it, what I do like about it, and try to give it like a really fair assessment. Because for people who like Weezer, and for Weezer fans in general, who have been there since, I guess you can even say make-believe, they have a track record of quote-unquote disappointing their fans, where Weezer has an established formula that was set up with the Blue Album and Pinkerton, and people loved that formula. Green Album came out, and it was pretty much the same. Maladroit came out, alright, cool, big rock riffs, and then things changed with Make Believe a little bit, and then Ratitude happened, and then Hurley happened, and they lost a lot of fans around this time because they were trying to do something different. They were trying to expand upon their sound and grow as a band and as songwriters and go somewhere else, a whole new direction to figure out exactly what they can do and what they are capable of. They know what they can do really well. Why not try something else? Other bands can do it. But for some reason with Weezer, whenever they go out and try something different, they always get knocked down a peg for it and ridiculed and just ripped apart. And some of the fans are completely like upfront about it, talking to the members themselves, saying like, I don't like that you did this, or like, this sounds dumb, why would you do that? So, back up a little bit. In between Hurley and Everything Will Be Alright in the End coming out, there was like 4 years between releases. And when Everything Will Be Alright in the End came out, that was like a big return to form. You know, big rock hooks, really well written, intelligent lyrics. There was emotion, there was heart, there was shredding. The last 3 songs in the album were one giant shred jam. They're amazing. And then the White Album came out, produced by a guy called Jank Sinclair. And he was this like younger dude who had grown up listening to Weezer as a kid, and he'd been like in a Weezer cover band. He knew what the fans wanted, and he knew what Weezer was capable of. So it was one foot in the old, one foot in the new, and that blend was absolutely amazing. I think the White Album for them, easily one of their best albums. Super catchy, but also very detailed, and lots of layers, lots of guitars layered all over this thing, and just really well written. I think the lyrics on them are some of the best they've done. Like "L.A. Girls" is an amazing song. "Wind in Our Sail," "Girl, We Got a Good Thing." I mean, that's a whole different album review. I can spend a long time just talking about that. So that came out, changed a lot of fans' perspectives, and they were like, all right, I guess Weezer kind of figured themselves out. Cool, let's crawl back into the fold and see what they can do. And then tracks started to come out for this thing. The first single that came out was Feels Like Summer, and I feel like that came out like in March of 2017. And when it's da 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 da, like instantly people were like, what the hell is this? Like, we just had 2 great albums in a row, now we're getting like this pop stuff again, like what is this? And then a couple other songs came out like Beach Boys, and then Weekend Woman, and then Happy Hour, and more fans were getting more and more disappointed, while some other fans were like, alright, maybe this is like a different like yacht rock pop feel for Weezer, let's see what happens. So we've come to this, my friends. Pacific Daydream. Originally, it was going to be called Somebody's Daydream, but Pat from the band was like, let's call it Pacific Daydream. The original plan after the White Album was to put out the Black Album. That didn't happen. They had 2 folders, basically this computer set up with 2 folders, and one folder was a Black Album, one folder just started piling up other songs that didn't fit with the Black Album, and Rivers was like, you know what, let's just do this for now, this feels right, this feels current, let's do this. So they're still in talks about putting out the Black Album at some point, but they're also working on a whole new thing right now with a lot of piano-based music. So we'll see what happens in 2018 here, and see what they put out. Anyways, most of this album was produced by Butch Walker. except for Feels Like Summer. And there's all kinds of songwriting credits beyond just Rivers, which is the norm these days. All kinds of people that I've written with, like Beyonce and John Legend, Fergie, Rihanna, Maroon 5, Gwen Stefani. So there's people who have been all over the map, songwriting-wise, on this thing with the guys in Weezer. And to mixed results. It's not my favorite album by far. I'd still say the White Album is way streets ahead better than this thing. And if you're not saying streets ahead, well, you're streets behind. So let's just jump into this thing. It debuted at number 23 on the charts, which is their lowest chart debut since the Blue Album came out. It's their first album to not debut in the top 10 since Pinkerton. So, But Mexican Fender. This song actually is the first song on this thing, and it came out from White Album sessions, and it shows. It sounds like a White Album song. But it was inspired by real events about Rivers meeting up. They're not really sure if it's the lead singer from La Sera or not. People are trying to figure out, put the pieces together, but they think it is. Basically, in 2015, I think at the end of 14 as well, Rivers was doing this experimental stuff where he'd meet people on Twitter or Tinder and just meet up and hang out and talk about life and walk around and go to shops and go to restaurants and stuff and just get source material basically for writing music. And a lot of that stuff ended up on the White Album, and some traces of it probably will keep continuing to show up over the next several albums. But so this is about him meeting up with a girl at a guitar shop who was there to meet her boyfriend, and they went to the ocean, they went to a gig, you know, all that kind of stuff. The song basically lays it out. I love this song. For me, this is probably the best song on the album, and it's all downhill from there. No, it's my favorite song on the album. Big rock riffs in the beginning, but it's got a cool rock vibe. I like where they're going with it. They play with a couple different chords they don't normally play with, and the production and the tone on the guitars sets it apart from other Weezer songs where you know it's Weezer, but it's got a whole different, fresh approach, which I like that a lot. I like Brian and Scott's background vocals on this thing. All the ahs and the oohs and stuff are fantastic. I really wish the whole album sounded like this. That would have been awesome. But the dreamy production on this thing, especially during the whole She Loves Me Not part, I really, really dig that. Some of the bells, some of the chimes in the background, some of the percussion that beats along with the drums. Real groove of a track. I really, really dig that song. The second song on here, Beach Boys, is an homage to one of my favorite bands and one of your favorite bands, the Beach Boys. It opens with this, like, well, number one, the bass on this song is incredible. Most of this album is full of great bass. If there's one thing to take away from this is like Scott Schreiner's shining moment, because he saves this album with his bass playing. The verses on this song on Beach Boys are very interesting. And I like the way Rivers phrases his words together. I like the way he strings bits of lyrics together. And it's just interesting to listen to the storytelling on this song. You know, I'm a remarkable guy. I'll try to, you know, get you to try new things. I'll keep you young. Really kind of fascinating. I kind of like where he's going with that vibe. But then you get to the chorus. And while I think musically, I like the musically of it. I like the music of the chorus. But the lyrics they delve into like cheesy Ratitude Hurley territory with, like, you know, hold them up at gunpoint, keep playing the Beach Boys, like on a roll like a twist toy. Like, what the hell does that mean? And a lot of this album is like Rivers doing the cut up method, or basically like something like Bowie would have done on Diamond Dogs, where he, like, you know, takes a bunch of lyrics, chops them all up, and sets them, you know, in a systematic kind of system. I'm on a roll for words today. Where basically, if you needed like a certain syllable word for a certain section of a song that would fit, you know, in the syncopation of it, he would find words and put them together and kind of get inspired by that, or work with what he had. This is one of those songs, I think, and the whole in the beginning, like, not feeling that. It sounds like a Taylor Swift song, like something she would put out now. The chorus lyrics are just kind of not my favorite, and the whole Murray Wilson solo in the middle, where he's like talking about, you know, they're quoting actual Murray quotes from like the Help Me Rhonda sessions, basically. I don't know, man. Like, I keep cranking them Beach Boys, but I don't know about Yeah, jeez. Feels like summer again. This was also slightly inspired by different events where Rivers actually like some of the lyrics are like climbing up the tower to spoil his computer. Like Rivers, I guess, was taking his computer somewhere up this tower, and I think it was in North Hollywood Cemetery or something. But he actually mentions like referencing a castle, castles in the sand, Gillette's castle in Connecticut, where he's from, or he kayaked up to the castle, which you can do. Um, I do like the bridge on this song. I like the ending parts too. I like the little June Bride, Shine So Bright. Like I dig that. I think the way they sing that is cool. I think the music is fun at that point. The guitars have a good crunch to them. Um, but the chorus is, while infectious, sure, yes, it is, but it's annoying. That weird strained falsetto thing and the whole da 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 thing in the background, like it just sounds like it's begging for attention to be played on like a Forever 21 Spotify playlist that you'd hear during the summer months during a sale at the store. Like it doesn't sound. And I'm not dogging Weezer for trying something different at all. Go for it, man. Like try something different. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. That's all. We're all human. But for my taste, personally, even if it wasn't a Weezer song, I'd still probably find it slightly irritating. Um, but yeah, the June Bride stuff, I do like that. So there's that. Happy Hour. This is another single on the album. As of this video being made in January of 18, the most current single. But it's also become something of a meme with the whole coconut line. But again, awesome bass on this thing. It's not a bad song at all. I think the chorus is catchy. I think there's a melancholic element to this song about loneliness and not fitting in. And I love the bridge on this song. I think that's pretty cool, the whole scientist thing. Yeah, it's a good song, but it just feels kind of lifeless, and I think that's because of the loneliness and the melancholy feel to it. But it doesn't translate a like feel sorry for me element. It kind of translates like a I'm nowhere element, which is interesting in its own right. But not a bad song, not bad. I wonder if they're gonna put a video out for it. Weekend Woman. This is actually like inspired by an old song they had from the Green Album era called Burning Sun. And when I first heard it, they were posting these things on YouTube, and I first heard it, I'm like, wait, I know this song. What the hell is that? And then I went through the comments, and people were like, "This is Burning Sun." I'm like, "Holy crap, you're right." Kind of middle of the road on this one for me. It's a little boring. It kind of goes on forever. The chorus is okay, but I do like the nice acoustic guitars on them. Rivers and the guys kind of wanted to make an album that was free of big rock riffs that dominate the album. They wanted to try something different and kind of do a little bit of different phrasing with the guitar. Obviously, rely way more heavier on the bass, filling up the rest of the song. And for that, I do applaud them for trying something different. Of course. To mixed results, sure, but you're never going to learn about yourself unless you try and quote-unquote make a mistake. So, but who am I? I'm just a guy on the internet holding a record talking about music. So, QB Blitz. This actually is one of my favorite songs on the album. This probably is my number 2 favorite song on this thing. Really emotive acoustic guitars, nice chimes, just a really like lonely song about not fitting in, not having a social circle, trying to figure out your place in the world, which is a theme that has been Weezer's thing since day one. But to hear it coming from like a 47-year-old version of Rivers is interesting and slightly heartbreaking. So it's interesting to hear him sing about stuff like that now. But again, the chorus phrasing I think is fun. The way he sings QB Blitz, oxygen, like I think that's cool. The bridge is okay, not my favorite part of this thing, but I love the hand claps, the eventual shuffle beat that kicks in. Really not a bad song, very, very strong song, and this is one of the few times in the album where I feel like the production lends itself well to the emotion of the song itself. Sweet Mary, this is a song that at first I was really enjoying, but the more I heard it, it was almost like eating a bunch of like M&Ms or something. It was just too sweet after a while. It kind of just made your stomach turn. I think the production on it is way too overdone. I mean, they're going with like a Phil Spector, Brian Wilson vibe, and it's too much. I think that they stripped it back to almost just like an acoustic guitar. It would have been great, but I think the production on this song in particular kind of ruins it. And I know a lot of people really do love this song, and I get it, and I liked it at first, but it was one of those things where the more I played it, the more I was like, man, I am not feeling this song. There's moments where I think it's annoying. So, again, just my lonely, stupid opinion on the internet. So if you get offended by it, I'm sorry, but, you know, that's... Sometimes you like music, sometimes you don't. That's all. Get Right. This song has a lot of like space in it. There's a lot of open emptiness in this song, which makes it kind of different and sets it apart from the rest of the album. But because of that, it's got even more of a generic rock radio voice than the rest of them do, and literally anybody could have done this song. It sounds like, I almost wish Foo Fighters can do it, because I feel like I can imagine Dave Grohl screaming this song and Taylor Hawkins just beating the crap out of his drums. And kind of giving it some life, giving it some spark. It kind of just limps along. It doesn't really go anywhere. The tambourine's cool, though. La Mancha's Screwjob. More of that chipmunk stuff in the background. I don't get that whole chipmunk production vibe that everyone's doing these days. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, there's some good lines on this one, like my own private time bomb about getting old and stuff. Catchy chorus. The chorus really isn't too bad, but again, it's lifeless. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't make me feel anything, whereas, even stuff on the White Album totally grabs at you. Like, Wind in Our Sail, or Girl We Got a Good Thing, or even California Kids. Like, those songs, like, they hit a chord in you, and you're like, yeah, I get it. I know what you're singing about. It just kind of exists. It doesn't, not feeling it. I mean, the breaks are kind of cool on it near the end, but overall, just kind of forgettable for me. Any Friend of Diane's is the last song on this album, and I like that little guitar bit, the thing. That's pretty fun. There's a couple like references to the Smiths and a Meet His Murder t-shirt, and it's catchy, but it's also kind of snoozy at the same time. I would like to know more about who Diane was. I think more to that story would be maybe a little beneficial to the storytelling, and would give more of an element of maybe like a sympathy or a relatable experience that listeners can find in that, which isn't the point of songwriting. It's mostly something you do for yourself, and people find the messages in there. But when there's little to no, full-on emotion, it's almost hard to try to find something in the music because you're not getting something out of the music to begin with. So, here's the back cover. I will say, I love the album cover. I think that's very, very cool. Everyone's doing this thing now. Everyone's got this style. Like Tears for Fears just came out with a new greatest hits that has this. Of Montreal's Rune Husk EP is like this. There's a bunch of Instagram accounts that do this style of collage work. And that's like kind of the cool thing to do these days. But I do like it. That being said, I do like it. This particular copy came from the Weezer website, so it's the limited edition white vinyl with black splatter. I haven't opened it. I don't think I will. It came with the CD, so I've been playing that. I don't know. See, this is the hard part, because it's very easy to pick this thing apart and be like, here are the things I don't like. That's the easy part. Finding the things that do make it redeemable is a little more difficult, and I do believe there are things on here that are redeemable. Scott Schreiner's bass playing on this thing is absolutely top-notch. I think he saves this album single-handedly. His bass is melodic, it's characteristic, it's colorful, it's vibrant. It's definitely the life on this album, and it saves a lot of the songs. The production is just too well done. If they had stripped back the production a little bit and didn't give it that big glossy shine, I think that would have changed a lot of these songs. I think they're being choked and suffocated by all the computer technical crap that they threw on top of it, instead of just relying on decent songs. And there are some decent songs on here. They just don't get their time to shine because they've got too much shine on them. Like Sweet Mary, Weekend Woman, hell, even Beach Boys. I think if they just toned it down a little bit, I would have liked it more. That being said, again, it's not the worst thing they've ever done. By far. Not at all. If you're looking for something to just throw on and kind of just enjoy, yeah, you'll probably get a lot out of this. It's breezy, it's light at times. It does have its moments where it gets a little emotional, so that's nice. And it's not offensive in any way. It's not like, they've made another Gratitude or something, but uh, um, it leaves me with a lot to think about and a lot to consider and a lot to keep going back to. I don't see myself like never listening to this thing again, but I do see myself taking it out once in a while and really assessing it to see why I like it or why I don't. On one hand, great. Weezer tried something different. They broke away from their mold. That's a bold-ass move to make. That's like if the Beatles put out a rap album or something, which would be amazing and they can pull it off. But, yeah, they tried something different. They put down their big rock riffs to try a whole new feel. What the hell? Like, for that matter, go for it, guys. Like, you did it, okay? So what if I don't think it's the best thing you ever did? Did Weezer like it? Did Weezer have a good time making it? That's all that matters. Because that's only going to help them grow as musicians and artists. They need to try something different to keep themselves fresh. If they keep going out there and playing the Blue Album every night, they're going to go insane. And they won't grow. They won't develop as artists. They won't change their songwriting patterns. They won't change the way they play guitar or find new instruments. They need an album like this to do that. While it might be a slight misstep in the step of their career, who knows what's going to come next? That's one thing I've learned about Weezer in the almost 20 years I've been a fan of this band. You never know what's going to happen next, and it could be great. When Hurley came out, we had no idea that everything would be alright and the end would come out and totally blow our minds. So, you don't know what's going to happen next. That said, I'm going to stay completely neutral on this thing, give it like a 5, right in the middle. It's not awful, it's not great, but if you're looking for something like that says Weezer on it and it's new, and it's pretty okay, kind of fun to listen to, go for this. Again, just my opinion. So I'd love to learn what you guys have to say about this thing in the comments. People have been asking about this one for a while, and I've really had to sit on it for a while because it was easy at first to be like, oh, this album sucks. And I can't do that. That's not how I work. I really need to give something a decent assessment before I can say if I like it or not. So I kind of like this album. I'm kind of middle of the road MOR on this thing. I love 2 songs, Mexican Fender and QB Blitz. The rest of it, they're okay. That's all I gotta say about that. So, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been The Weezers with Pacific Daydream, out now on Crush and Atlantic Records. So let me know what you think about it. I'm really, really curious to see what you guys have to say because people have been asking about this one. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Giggens. This has been Album Reviews with Weezer, Pacific Daydream, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Oh, and for good measure, I've been a fan for a long time, so just no matter what they do,